Well, that's the thing we talk about all the time too, is like, when you're watching news articles or CNBC or, anything, I don't know where you get your news. Like half people get news on Facebook nowadays, but it's like, any
Fuck.
news station, the only reason, or Reddit or whatever, but like the only reason that they make money is if they get viewers, if they get clicks, if they get likes, all this kind of stuff, right? So like any news station has to catch your attention. So they're
I
always
don't
like,
understand, Kalen, the type of people that go on Reddit or go on Twitter or CNBC and like actually looking for ideas for stocks on those platforms.
yeah, well,
Like,
those,
why
I
do
mean, it's easy, right? Like it's the easy way out. You just look and you see some post with 10,000 likes where everyone says, "Oh, stocks are going to crash, so you better put your money here." Like, "Oh, this stock is going through the roof, so just buy it." And somebody just you're scrolling through and you look at it and you say, "Oh, 10,000 people like this.
what
There's
does
500
somebody
comments.
else
Everybody."
what does
Hey,
somebody else know that we don't? We
exactly.
all
And
have
if it's
access to the same amount of information, the same charts, the same data. Like, we're all, in it trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing though, is that like a lot of those people don't know how to read charts, and like a lot of people are too lazy to figure out how to do that, right? Or even people that they aren't necessarily lazy, they're just they just want that quick money. So if they read some big exciting headline that says this stock's gonna go up 80% in the next 6 months because of these reasons, and inflation's through the roof and blah 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 blah, then everybody's gonna be like, oh, okay, great, I can make some quick money. Let's throw a whole bunch of cash in here, and then that's the end of it. They just put it in there and they say, "Oh, I read this headline and this is what it told me to do." Right? They don't actually look into the background like guys like us kind of do. Like some people do, but like we like all of us basically, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I think we'll see a news headline and we'll go, "Okay, well there's obviously something going on here. Otherwise there wouldn't be a headline. So let's dig into the background and see where this headline's actually coming from." Like like David, that headline about Tesla where they said they sold like half as many cars in China, and then it was like 3 days later the actual results came out and they sold like twice as much. It was like
Yeah.
the complete opposite. So you saw the headline and you're like, okay, well this doesn't really make sense. So let's dig into this. You dug into it and then you bought the dip because everybody panicked and sold, and you had a nice little swing trade over a few days, right?
No, I still have it. I'm up $80 a share now.
There you go. Because you didn't listen to the headline. You saw the headline and you saw, okay, how can I actually find some real knowledge behind this to use it to my advantage, right? Instead of just following the headline.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we share a lot of articles in the group between us, and I would say 90% of the time I'm just face bombing. These articles are just ridiculous.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
and
for
it's
sure.
it's it's all the same recycled garbage. Like, it's an article that really was put out 6 months ago or 1 year ago, and now it's finally sort of getting a little bit of traction. Like, they're telling you all the reasons why you should buy, let's say copper because there's inflation, whatever. And I'm like, man,
Yeah.
we were talking about we were pricing in the inflation narrative last August, right? The
Mhm.
market's the best forward discounter, right? It's discounting things 8 to 12 months ahead. So um that's what I always say. Do you want to actually, before we get into the Tom Lee article, pop up the sector performance for Q2 just before we get into
Yeah.
what's going to happen
Which
in the second half of the year? We could talk about what's going to happen now. It's the bar charts.
Just a quick note, I gotta tell you guys, just because I see stuff like this in small caps all the time and it's so much worse. Like, just an example off the top of my head, there was one time I saw a company, a couple of years ago, I can't remember what it was, but basically they released a news headline that said, "We're now selling our products on Amazon." And it's like some super small company. So obviously, the thing gaps up 50%. So literally 30 seconds, looked into the filings, looked at the company. It turns out they've been selling their stuff on Amazon for I think a year and a half already at that point. So, they released this, but they just released the headline because you can do that because they're not lying. Like, they are selling their stuff on Amazon. They've just already been doing it for a year and a half. So stock gaps
Right.
way up.
I
Everybody gets excited and then, it crashes.
I never trust small caps because that's what they do. I mean, they use the term pump and dump, right? And that's exactly what they do. Their investor relations just go and they just have a approach where they just put out these staggered PR, and they just basically, give all these bogus releases of news articles. Basically, oh, this person bought stock. We have a partnership with this company. And it's
Yeah.
all like a solid company like an Amazon. Like they don't do that. They just put their head down, they work. And when they do have an announcement or something that's noteworthy, they'll put it in the news release for the earnings release.
Yeah,
See, that's why Kalen shorts the shit out of them.
Yeah. But that's almost like kind of like what news stations are, right? Like news stations are like the pump and dump guys. Like they just release these bogus headlines to get stocks moving, and then it just does the same kind of thing, but just on a bigger scale.
Dude, you're like
Remember I
the
posted that
anti-Robin
article?
Hood, man.
Which okay.
Essentially, yeah.
That was great. AMC crashed a little bit last week, so I just shorted the hell out of it, and it was nice.
I was just gonna say, remember that there was an article I posted, I think a few weeks ago. It was a Canadian mining company. Their stock pumped. I forgot what name it was. I even played it last year, but I didn't know the story behind it. But basically, they paid some writer from like the FT or whatever in the UK to release an article suggesting that they were talking to Tesla to be a supplier for Tesla.
Yes,
and their
I
stock,
remember the company.
remember? And then their stock went Giga Metals. I can't remember.
Giga Materials or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I remember that too.
So it got uncovered that either the writer was paid to write the article or he's just that stupid. Either way, he caused the stock to spike because there's literally no connection between that company and Tesla. But he wrote that there was, and then so the stock went up and then came back down.
Yeah, I think I actually played that because I remember that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.